Hello, savvy listeners. I am excited you are taking the time to invest in yourself today. Savvy, the business podcast, will show you how your daily habits can create your own platform. Experts will share solutions and efficient tips to create a roadmap just for you. One thing that can make this happen: change your habits, change your success. Welcome to Savvy, the business podcast. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me again here with Savvy, the business podcast. And I am excited to have our guest on today. And you're going to be excited too. So as we go through this conversation, I know you're going to be contacting her and just really listening in and grabbing some of the nuggets that I'm sure she's going to share with us today. So as always, we bring on experts to share solutions, tips, give you the good, bad, ugly, all of the above, because we want to be sure that you are successful with your business and the things that you're doing in your career. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to read some of her bio to you so you know who we're talking to. We are talking with Sharrarne Morton, is an executive producer and on-air personality on SiriusXM Radio Channel 141, HUR Voices, and that's HUR. She hosts two shows: the Small Business Report, which highlights business growth and development in the U.S., and the Skin Deep show, which focuses on health and wellness in communities of color. Sharrarne is the CEO of Morton Media, a media training and public relations firm that helps businesses build their brand by placing them on TV and radio. She also owns Skin Deep Beauty Store, an e-commerce store where only organic and vegan beauty products are sold. Interesting.
Thank you. And it's Sharrarne, by the way. It's very hard. All of those letters.
Oh, I am so sorry, Sharrarne.
No, girl, I was 10 before I could pronounce it. Okay, so don't worry. Sharrarne, yeah. Too many letters.
Wow. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us here on Savvy the Business Podcast. So we see you are in media, and not only just media, but on Sirius. Everybody, you know, they have Sirius, Pandora, all these different platforms. Right. Because just normal radio is, I won't say it's no more, but we want to have more of the extensive music or talk shows or, you know, whatever we have, without just being bombarded with all of these different commercials.
Right.
And I'm not down to commercials, because we all got to have those commercials out there.
Bills,
but
right, they pay the bills.
Tell us a little bit, how did you, really get started in media, and the journey to get to where you are today?
Well, it was a journey. And I'm still on the journey, as I'm sure your listeners can understand, because when you are a business owner, the journey it's continuous.
Yes.
I'm not complaining. I'm just explaining, like my friends
I understand.
So I majored in journalism when I went to Rutgers University in New Jersey. So I've always wanted to be a journalist, a broadcast journalist. And I preferred television, but I just wanted to use my voice, And so once I got out of school, I landed into politics somehow. I got a job at the Maryland General Assembly, and I worked for a state representative. And so it was, I did deal with the media, but I wasn't like exactly a media person. I was kind of helping him to promote legislation, but it still helped. It was a great job straight out of college. It allowed me to rent a little townhouse and buy a car. I thought I was something back then, okay? So after that, I decided to run for office because I saw all of the things that legislators could do to make people better and to make communities better, especially communities of color. But they could implement all kinds of legislation that could add to people's quality of life. And I was like, hey, this is wonderful. And so about a couple of years after that, I got married, had kids, was on the PTA. And that's when I really started saying, hey, I need to run for office because, there's some things that I don't like about the educational system, the school system. There's some things that I think that I could help change as a mom, as a PTA president. So I jumped into politics head first It was the second hardest thing I've ever done next to having a baby.
Yeah.
'Cause that labor is no joke. But I didn't win because I ran up against an incumbent, a 30-year incumbent, and I jumped in the race a month before the primaries, but I did snag over 40% of the vote, which was amazing, for a first timer running against an incumbent. And that really truly gave me a voice. And then the next thing I know, the local ABC7 affiliate called me and said, "Hey, we see all the things you're doing. Would you mind being a regular, contributor to our newscast? And we're going to talk about, world and state and local politics, and world, national, state, and local politics." I was like, of course. So I started going on the news, ABC7 News Channel 8, to offer a contribution. I was on a panel. I was the only woman, the only person of color on this panel. And what I thought was going to be a one-time thing ended up being a 14-year gig. I
Wow.
was coming on the show.
Wow.
It was like once a month for 14 years. And so from that, I started getting all of these opportunities to host and to MC events. And then the SiriusXM opportunity dropped in my lap. I don't want to say dropped in my lap. God gave me the SiriusXM opportunity, which was wonderful. It's called the Small Business Report, where we are able to, invite experts on the show to help small businesses get to the next level, or people who want to go into business, how to get into business, where to find money, where to find grants, how to do business with the federal government, how to network. So we have like 500,000 listeners. We've been on the air for 5 years. And now we have advertisers. It took us a couple of years to get advertisers because we were this small little show. And now we're doing really well. And I decided to pitch Skin Deep to the station to see, hey, would you be willing to greenlight this show? And they liked it and they greenlit it. And so now I'm producing and hosting 2 shows. And that's under my business, Morton Media. So I'm really busy, but I'm really blessed. I'm doing what I love. I'm doing what I went to school for. I had to pivot a little bit during this whole COVID thing, like all business owners had to do. Plus, I came down with COVID back in April, which was
Oh,
a whole
wow.
new story. Yeah.
Yeah.
But God is good. I'm here to tell my story, and it's a testimony.
Absolutely. I mean, you're sharing this story, and most people they think, okay, well, it looks like, you get to have all this fun, you're talking to all these people, you're connecting, but there's really a business behind getting to that point.
Right.
I mean, even myself, being, having a magazine and the podcast is, like it's a journey. Is
Yeah.
doing the emails, following up, making the phone calls, making sure you have those connections. It's just a lot of things behind it, and doing those e-blasts, educational. Can you share a little bit about the business end of it, on that, the journey and the things that have to be done behind the scenes to make those stations happen?
Yeah, it's a lot of work. I don't even want to pretend that, it's glamorous, but like you said, behind the mask, like behind this makeup,
Yeah.
it takes work, to get it. I didn't wake up like this. I wish I did, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of work to, firstly, as a woman and as a woman of color, we
Yes.
have that many more hurdles to jump. So that in and of itself is a challenge. It's a lot of work, just sustaining your business as a woman of color. It's, I have to say, I forgot to inject in there along the way. I had a career as an English professor at the local community college. So I was teaching students about television and radio and media because I wanted them to understand what it takes, to get on television, to get, your own radio show on SiriusXM. I had to prove myself. I had to prove that I could produce these shows. I had to be able to write these shows. I had to network. People had to like me. I hate to say it, but people do business with people they like.
That is so true. It's
Yeah,
so true.
I mean, you just say, hey, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but people
Right.
really do judge you,
Yes.
by what you sound like, what you look like, whether they like you or not, whether they want to take this risk, are you trustworthy? When you're trying to get a loan, do you have a decent credit score? I mean, a lot goes into it. But I think the thing that people really need to understand is it's all about who you know. And then once you get in the door based on who you know, it's what you know. So you got to be able to back it up. And it is no joke. We're not allowed the kinds of mistakes that other races, other people are allowed. As Black women, we almost have to be 10 times better and more perfect and no errors. And, it's a challenge. It really is. And while doing all of that, I raised children. So thankfully, my children are adults now. That has really been allowed me to expand my business because while I was raising children with my husband, I had to pull everything back and put them first. So I was doing my business kind of part-time. But once they went away to college, I was able to devote everything to my business. And that's what it takes. It takes everything. It was my third child, my business. So I was raising my business once my children went off to school.
Wow. That's the reality of it. And
It,
I completely understand, what you're saying. They have to like you. It's not just about, hey, I'm gonna show you on all these platforms. Hey, it's
right.
they have to like you. And it's making those connections and building those relationships. And even when, I'm working with, some clients and people getting ready to come on the show, I always, like to have those conversations with them. And it's not about, okay, you on my show and that's it. I like to keep those connections, build those relationships. Because
Right.
one, you never know where that relationship is going to go one way or the other.
That's
But
right.
you always have to nurture those. And even without media, just somebody that have a professional career, you have to be that career to climb that ladder.
That's
It's
right.
not a, hey, I got this degree and this sheet of paper. That sheet of paper
Oh,
don't mean nothing in the reality of it.
it didn't
It's
mean a
great,
thing. It's good
but
to have, but nobody asked me about it. I
yeah,
have to be honest. They were like, okay, what have you done and what can you do for me?
right.
Basically. So it was good to have. I mean, it gives you credibility. I got my degree in journalism, so it gave me credibility, but to be honest, nobody asked. It's
Yeah.
good. It looks good on your resume, but that's about it.
Yeah. So you have to, in having that experience. So especially now with COVID, when I say we have some time, I mean, who would have ever thought you gonna make me stay at home because I don't want to stay at home?
Right,
Who would ever thought that would happen today?
right.
And it's so many free online courses that's happening now. And if they're not free, they're really, really inexpensive.
Mm-hmm,
And it's
mm-hmm.
taking the opportunity to learn some of those things. So if someone was to come to you and, want to try to, as I would say, jump on the bandwagon, of course, what's your experience? What do you have? You got to bring something with you. It's not about, just walking in. I want you to bring in that wagon. Let's see what you got in that wagon.
Right.
What you say to somebody that's not only want to get into media, but any type of career or business?
I would definitely say do your homework, make sure this is what you like and really want to do. Don't look at it because it looks glamorous from the outside. Go volunteer or intern or work in that field for a little while to see if you truly love it. Because when you love it, it's not really a job. I mean, it's hard, but you enjoy it. You thrive from it. So go out and see if it's truly what you love to do. And then once you find that out, then you maybe go work in the field long term or lend your services to a celebrity or a radio station or a television station at no cost or at a stipend, or you pay my gas and I'll do this, that, and the other.
Right.
Um, and then, get your experience, gain your experience under your belt, because that's the only way you're going to be able to get what you want and get in front of the people who you like to get in front of is one, network and get to know people, but also two, once you get to know them, see what their needs are and make certain that you have what they're looking for. Everybody's looking for something, and usually they're looking for a person that can help them get better and do better. And if you're that person with that experience and you can go to a radio or television station and say, hey, I worked for 2 years for free at this particular station or this particular outlet or this particular magazine. Here's my experience. I can help you take your show to the next level. No one's going to deny that. Nobody's going to reject you. Everybody's looking to get to the next level.
Wow. And with COVID right now, we can't go out and network like we used to, shake the hands, have the face to face. What advice would you give someone virtually to continue to have those networking events or network or try to make those connections?
There's a ton of virtual networking on Facebook. You just go on Facebook and look for a group that you're interested in, or 2 or 3 groups. All organizations and groups are out here on Zoom. They are networking virtually. Yes. I think we're all zoomed out, Yeah. So put on a nice shirt or blouse. You can keep your pajamas on at the bottom and your slippers and get into those Zoom calls, those Zoom networking events, and meet people and let people know who you are and what you can do, and get people's email addresses and phone numbers and send them. Like, I'm right now auditioning for some voiceovers. I do lots of voiceovers for our advertisers, and I want to do more because the national voiceovers pay so much more money. And so I was talking virtually with someone, and they said, hey, send me what you have, what you've already done. And so you're in those Zoom calls or on those Zoom calls, and you're networking with people and you're getting to know them and getting to know what it is or how it is that you can collaborate. Like my kids say, a collab, how you can collaborate with them. Yeah. That's how you do it. You got to make it work in a COVID world.
Right. In this COVID world, so many people, they were thriving, before we had to shut down and get homebound. And some people have lost that drive, that motivation, and they're just feeling, some are feeling depressed, and some is just, oh, I can't do it no more, or people aren't calling me back. But we all have to understand this world, not just a state, this world we're all in the same boat. Yeah. And we have to understand people going through financial issues. They got kids home. Yeah. Some may say, hey, the kids driving me crazy. This husband driving me crazy. I got to get out of here. So it's finding those places. So what would you say to someone that's, feeling the opposite of what they were? They're feeling down, depressed, like they just don't know how they're going to get over this hump.
Yeah. It is hard. It's very difficult. And I've said a couple of times, I'm so glad my kids are grown, but because I don't know how I would manage having a couple of kids who need to be homeschooled, every day. They still need to be fed and bathed and all. It's a lot. Plus you're running your business or you're working from home. It's a lot. So, and then all the news is bad news or sad news. Yeah. All of that really takes a toll on us emotionally and psychologically. So what I would definitely say is join a group on a social media platform where the people all have these things in common and they're trying to lift people up. Also, there are lots of therapists and counselors online. You can do therapy and counseling virtually as well, have someone to talk to. For me, I go out on my deck and do my work. My deck sometimes is my office. So if it's nice outside, I'm sitting outside on my deck, I'm eating my breakfast, and then I'll do, open my laptop and start doing work. Just being outside helps tremendously, hearing the birds sing, looking at the trees, feeling the sun. We need sun, sun helps a lot. That vitamin D3 helps a lot. Talk on the phone to your friends, do virtual parties with your friends. I just celebrated a friend's birthday on Zoom. There was like 40 of us, or they paid for the premium or whatever, so we could have as many people as we wanted. So we all got on Zoom and we celebrated her birthday. walk around your neighborhood, bike around your neighborhood. There's a lot of things that we can do because there's a new normal. We have to change,
Yeah.
how we do business. If we don't get this COVID under control, we may have to live like this for another year. So we have to start thinking outside of the box and realizing, okay, we're not going to be able to do things like we used to do. What is it that I can do to make myself feel better? And those are some of the things that I would recommend. Those are some of the things that I do.
Right. I mean, me myself, I went purchase a bike, you know, and I ride around the neighborhood just to get out. And then I like it because it's peaceful. I have my
Yeah.
radio, the
Yeah.
wind blowing.
It's
You know,
good
I
exercise.
kind of people, but I'm in my
Yeah.
own thing.
And it's good exercise. You're
Yeah,
lucky you found the bike. I was trying to find the bikes. All of the stores are sold out because so many
it's
people are
hard.
buying them. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
been,
it's hard because I
yeah.
actually looked online and the bike that I really wanted, they're like, oh yeah, it's at this store. So I go there. It's like, this is what I want right here. You said they have in the store. Oh yeah, we have those, but we're sold out. I can order one, but it won't be until November or December. I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
that
Wow.
defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
So
You lucked out. You found one.
yeah, I just looked around and saw what they had and picked one of those that they had in the store. But I've been online for a while, way before COVID came, and educating people on utilizing online tools, being efficient, understanding your devices, which are so important. Everybody have the smartphones, tablets,
Right.
iPads, laptops,
Right.
and it's understanding those devices. And I've been teaching and showing people, and some like, oh, I'm old school. I just want to write. Oh, I'm old. I said, okay, old school, you know. But now you see that was a point. You can't go back to your office to
No,
look for certain things. You can't go to your office and get that file. You
no.
can't go to your office and, look on somebody else's desk. So you have to understand your devices, go digital, know how to, the collaboration, the connection, understanding all of those things. And right now, podcasts are on the rise.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
there are so many talk shows out there now.
There's a lot. I think it's the market is saturated based really with the podcasting.
Yeah.
Both of my shows, or I'm sorry, one of my shows, Skin Deep, is we just when we tape it in the studio, my producer just sends it over, and has it uploaded as a podcast. So it's on all of the platforms, Apple and Stitcher
Mhm.
and all those. But yeah, there's definitely a saturation in the market, and then you have all the celebrities. They're doing podcasting as well because there's money to be made in podcasting. You just have to stand out from all of the other
Right.
the podcasts. And I was going to say one of my businesses, skindeepbeautystore.com, we're a startup. We just started the business last year, and it's tough with starting up a new business. So we started up in April of 2019, and we were starting to gain a little bit of traction. I started the business in conjunction with the Skin Deep show because I wanted to offer people a chance to use cosmetics that were healthy, that were vegan and organic based, that didn't have a lot of chemicals. Because we know that what we put on our bodies is just as important as what we put in our bodies. So
Right.
that's a lot of what I was talking about on my show, Skin Deep. So I, started working with cosmetic companies who only manufacture organic, vegan, cruelty-free, paraben-free products. And so, it usually takes a good 2 years, sometimes 3 or 4 years before you begin to see a profit. And so then COVID came. I think we really started to know about it in March. Then
Yeah.
April, I caught COVID and I was down for the count. When I say I almost lost my life, I'm not exaggerating. I was in the hospital
It's
twice.
no joke. It's no
It's no
joke.
joke. I have no idea how I caught it. They were just starting to talk about it in March.
Yeah.
I think at the end of March is when they started telling people to wear masks. The first week in April, I felt like a train had hit me. I couldn't walk. I was immobilized. It was horrible. And like I said, I was in the hospital twice. I was in urgent care twice. I'm just so grateful and thankful to be here. And of course, I had to shut down my businesses, my operations, because I was just trying to live. I was just trying to survive. I was begging God to please let me see my birthday, which was just in July. And I'm so grateful to him that he did allow me to see my birthday. But the COVID has had such an impact on people, period, and businesses specifically, people in general and businesses specifically, especially Black-owned businesses. But the good news, as I've told so many people, to me, is COVID has been both a blessing and a curse. A blessing in that Black Lives Matter has come up out of the ashes and is in the forefront of media, and we're starting to recognize what's been happening to Black folks since we've been in this country
years.
for 400 years.
Yes.
And we're starting to demand accountability of those folks who have mistreated us and have killed us in the streets and have, all of the barriers that we've had to face as Black folks. So, that has come to fruition. I've heard lots of kids, including my young adult kids who've been out there protesting. They're out there, they're saying, hey, this is our job now. We don't have jobs to go to. So this is our job, to protest, to make certain that, Black folks get what's due to them and are treated equally and fairly. And then now the Small Business Administration and the federal government has made funds available to small business owners at practically no interest rate. You don't have to start paying it back for a year. It's a 30-year loan. That never would have happened before. And if you're a Black-owned business, there's tons of grants out there, millions of dollars that are being given to Black-owned businesses. And all of this because of the pandemic and how it has impacted the Black Lives Matter movement. So it's been both a blessing and a curse.
Right. Well, belated happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
We are so happy that you were able to go through COVID, because so many people just was not able to shake it. And I've seen it on the news. I've heard the stories of how hard people say it is for you to breathe, to move, to do all these different things.
Yeah.
But they say you just got to fight it. You have to move. As hard as it is and as bad as it hurts, you got to get up. You got to move.
Yeah, it was. I really literally couldn't. I'm so grateful that my young adult children still live at home, and my mother even moved in, and they took care of me, although I was terrified that they would catch it, and they didn't catch it. But I never experienced anything like that before. That's the sickest I've ever been in my life. I've had the flu before. This was 10 times worse than the flu.
That's what they say, yeah.
Yeah, I lost like almost 30 pounds in 3 weeks. Yeah, it was horrible. I don't know how to explain it. I was very grateful and thankful to God that I didn't have to get on a ventilator when I was in the hospital. I had breathing difficulties, but I didn't have to go on a ventilator. But this is the thing. I never had a fever, never had a cough, never had a sore throat. No, it affected me differently. And once I got out of the hospital and started getting better, it affected my organs, my liver, my thyroid, my digestive system. So you may hear on the news where people say, their organs have been affected. Some woman was on the news, she had to get her appendix taken out because it affected her appendix. This virus is like nothing we've ever seen, and they're saying it's going to get worse, before it gets better. So I just want people to understand the severity of it and to please be safe. Please listen to the doctors and the scientists. Don't listen to the politicians. Listen to the doctors and the scientists, because you don't want to be where I was, where I really thought it was my last day. I wasn't going to make it.
Wow. Well, let's jump into Skin Deep. You have the radio show, podcast, and you also have your products. And I'm excited to hear about these products because I've had to start dabbling into essential oils and things, trying to figure stuff out myself, because I have had eczema all my life. I don't break out in the patches, But, and a lot of people get confused, like, oh, well, you don't have eczema, you don't have, the patches or the marks. It's in your
Uh,
bloodstream. It's
yeah.
in you.
Yeah.
And, is you got to be careful with the lotions, the soaps, all the
Yeah.
different things.
Very
Right. And even my husband, he hates it. I'm like, don't buy that soap because I'm going to start eating. Like, well, you ain't bathing with it, but
right.
you're going to touch me. It's on the
Right.
it's,
Right.
and that's what people don't get is you can have whatever on you, but you just slightly touch me. And me not thinking because you stay itchy so much, you could be
Wow.
scratching, not think about it. And when I look down, see a big red patch, I'm like, okay, what did I get into? Who did I touch? And I
Wow.
start thinking, and it'll go away, but that's how I know I either touched somebody with some perfume or something on, or I did something. So it's trying to, think back to those things. And you're creating this line of products for pretty much anybody, because
Yeah.
I'm figuring out that all this extra stuff that's in these products is what can affect. So is it,
Yeah.
did you come up with that line because you have some type of skin issue, someone in your family have skin issue, or you just want, okay, let me get rid of all this extra stuff and have some natural?
Yeah, well, Skin Deep, it's on SiriusXM as well. And then we also have it as a podcast. So it's on the radio station and it's
Okay.
a podcast. We were talking, I was having these doctors on the show. I always knew stuff that's in the product, the various products that we use have all kinds of chemicals
Yeah.
and how our skin was absorbing these chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a friend that has eczema as well, and she has it really bad like you, and she's had it since she was a little girl. And she started telling me about this database that had all of these organic and vegan products. And this is what we were talking about on my Skin Deep show with her. I had her on as a guest as well as a doctor. And we were saying, hey, if people had access to products that didn't have all these chemicals in them that were based, vegan based and organic and cruelty free, people would feel better, they would look better, their skin would be better. And so I started looking into that and doing research and talking to people, and was able to kind of partner with a bunch of companies that produce these products. And I said, hey, I'm going to start a company that's going to mirror my radio show, Skin Deep. And I'd like to know if you'd be willing to have your products on my, in my online store, skindeepbeautystore.com. And they were like, sure. So you can go on to skindeepbeautystore.com and find almost any product that will help your skin. We have makeup, we have, bath stuff. We have stuff for like essential oils. We even have organic stuff for your pets and your
Oh,
babies,
wow.
children. Yeah, because a lot of people realize, that a lot of this dog food and stuff for your pets is not great. And people love their pets. They're part of their families in many instances. So I worked with these companies, and when people go to skindeepbeautystore.com, they can find something that will help them. I will go through, I think we have a product for eczema. So if so, I'll email you the information. You can tell me if that's something you think you'd like to have, and I'll send it to you.
Okay, and I definitely, try it out and put it out there and let people know, the
Yeah,
results of it. Because it's a lot of things out there, but I'm in the habit of flipping stuff over and starting to read some of
right,
those. And
right.
I've gotten in the habit of, if water is not the first ingredient on it, I kind of put it back on the shelf.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
It's good reading. It's good you're reading labels because, I never read labels 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
neither did I. Right.
Yeah, I just started reading labels in the last 5 years and seeing all of these
Right.
ingredients that I can't even pronounce. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You have to nowadays, because it's and I'm using the word stuff, but to me that's what it is. It's a lot of
right.
stuff.
Poisonous stuff, believe it or not. Yeah. And a lot of the stuff has chemicals that lead to all kinds of diseases as well. So sometimes people may wonder, well, what's going on with me? Well, a lot of times if you spray perfume directly on your neck or you put it on your wrist, it's going right into your body. It's affecting your adrenal glands, and you may have some illness and don't know it's because you're spraying that perfume directly on your skin. You should be looking for a perfume that's organic and vegan based, and you should only be spraying it on your clothes, not directly on your skin.
See, out of all the perfumes and soaps and all that stuff that's out there, there's one perfume that I can wear, and I don't even wear it. One thing of perfume will last me for years because I don't wear it. And when I do, it's spraying one of these numbers. Catch what I can catch in it, and that's it.
Hey, checking in. How's your business going?
Yeah, Tom, I have with me right here.
Hey, the kids want to know when you'll be home.
I'm really sorry.
Hey, listen, maybe owning a business is too much to handle right now.
You gave up a steady paycheck to chase this dream. Maybe it's not worth it.
Do you have any idea how hard it is these days to find new clients?
What do you know about managing people?
It's great you took the risk, but it's time to admit it's not working.
I know you're passionate about this. I know you gave it your best shot. But maybe it's time. Maybe it's time.
Maybe it's time to get a real job.
Get Keep today by clicking on the link below or copy and paste.
Yeah, so yeah, skindybeautystore.com, it was born from, talking to folks about, their problems like you. My girlfriend with eczema, I have a very good relationship with a doctor. She's actually a personal friend of mine, and her talking about all of the things that are in these products and how we need to be more cognizant of what we put on our skin. And so that's how it was born. And so again, it's a startup, it's a new business. So I'm running two businesses, Morton Media, that, where we produce the radio and TV shows and commercials, and then skindybeautystore.com, where we are selling organic and vegan beauty, health and wellness products online. And everything is online. I don't have any brick and mortar. So I was very thankful and blessed during this whole COVID that I didn't have to shut down a store. When you run a business online, it's a little bit easier because you don't have a lot of overhead, so I was very thankful for that.
No, absolutely. I'm loving it, and I can't wait to, see everything. And if you need me to try stuff, just let me know. I will try. I will try to take, because I am, of course, there's always someone worse than you, but I say, look, I'm bad. Is because I can't, if you just like to rub against me, I'm gonna be doing this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm bad. The soaps, it has to be, something really, really simple. All that perfuming stuff. I don't even walk in stores like, Bath and Body Works. I don't even walk in those stores.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah, I don't blame you.
And I start sneezing, then I start doing this. Now I gotta go.
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of people like that suffer like that as well. Yeah, and I didn't realize how many people out here who have eczema and allergies, to all of these different things that are in these products. So you definitely have to be careful. And even when you order clothes online, I always tell people wash them first, because they're loaded down with chemicals. You can sometimes smell the chemicals in the dyes that are in the clothes. Always wash them first. Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you so much.
It's been wonderful.
Let everyone know your website again, how they can reach you, listen to the shows on SiriusXM. Just let us know all that good stuff.
Yeah. So if they are interested in buying organic and vegan products that don't have a bunch of chemicals and stuff in them, they can go to skindeepbeautystore.com. If they're interested in learning all about television and radio and being in the media, they can go to mortonmediatv.com. They can also go to mortonmediatv.com/call, CALL, to talk with me, and perhaps maybe I can have them on the show as a guest if they're a small business owner.
Okay. Well, thank you so much again. And we truly enjoyed this conversation. And maybe we can have another show one day. You never know.
That was good. Thank you for having me, Melissa. I hope it was helpful.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.